cultural obfuscation. Not too long ago, two good friends of mine got into a row about culture. The question particularly revolved around Hanok architecture. A foreign friend was presenting to a mixed audience about the beauty of the style and the other element, both pros and cons. My Korean architect friend, who has engaged in cultural architecture for most of her career, groused about being reduced to learn her culture from foreigners and how despicable it was that people paid attention to the foreigners' critics or analysis, that foreigners should not be permitted to consider, study, and report on how they have come to understand and view a culture not their own. This Korean architect got into a row with another foreign friend more than 20 years ago. That friend had fallen in love with Hanok buildings when he first came to Korea in the 1960s as a young Peace Corps volunteer. Years later, as a professional engineer working in Korea, he fulfilled his dream by buying a small Hanok house to live in. The house was built during the Japanese colonial era, sometime around 1930. However, the original owner was an ethnic Korean, and the house stayed true to Korean style. In the early 2000s, the city designated the neighborhood for redevelopment and sent the Korean architect friend mentioned above to evaluate the historic value of the 1930s era Hanok in the era. After an intensive investigation by her team, which was deployed by the city government, she reported that since the houses were much older, perhaps 70 years old, they could not be seen as necessary historical relics or claim significant cultural value. My two friends rarely spoke to each other after that. Well, my architect friend may not like what I will say next. Who determines what is traditional architecture in Korea? I would say that while Hanok is part of Korea's traditional architecture, it represents only a small percentage of the corpus of buildings that have existed in Korea for centuries. Many campaign to save an old Hanok, but pretty much ignore the 99% of the remaining buildings. Hanok was something only the wealthiest of the wealthy could afford, and the non-aristocrats who lived in the side rooms of such mansion were the masses who lived in servitude to the 1%. I admit that the mud hut with a thatched roof isn't a dream house, but government agencies continue to foster a skewed view of Korea's culture through special cultural experiences for tourists and so-called vacation visas for foreigners. A recent article in this newspaper shows a group of visitors dressed in fancy hanbok taking part in a traditional program of washing their hair with boiled iris leaves. The absurdity of the photo would have been hilarious if not so tragic. First, no one in this right mind would wash their hair while wearing fancy clothes. Second, was washing hair in lotus leaves Korea's traditional way of cleaning hair, or was it a practice reserved for the extremely wealthy? Even the traditional Korean clothing called hanbok has been irreparably damaged by the cheap knockoffs rented out to tourists outside palaces, suggesting that such colorful clothing was traditional is another gross oversimplification that borders on dishonesty. Again, 99% of Koreans wore whitish wrap fabric with the colorful silks available only to the wealthiest in society, the nobility.